So hello, in this video we'll cover industrial relations for EPFO via these 200 most important MCQs. At the same time, we have already completed auditing, accounting, labor laws, your general science for the same, insurance, and a lot of other things. And you'll find all this on the same channel. The playlist name is EPFO 2025. At the same time, you'll find PDF on the Telegram channel. The name is EDUASTRA, and you'll find content related to others exam as well. So you can go and have a look. If you're unable to find the channel, do let me know. I'll provide you with the link. So now let's start. Industrial relations deal with the relations between employer and employees. Main objective of industrial relation: maintain industrial peace and productivity. Parties to industrial relation are employers, employee, government. ठीक है, employers, employee and government. Then industrial relation is primarily concerned with collective relations. HRM differs from IRN, focus on individual employee management, which approach views organization as a family unit. Unitarist. Pluralist approach accepts conflict as inevitable. Marxist approach focuses on class struggle. System approach to industrial relation was given by John T. Dunlop. ठीक है, important. Psychological approach emphasizes attitudes and perceptions. Human relations Human relations school emerged from Hawthorne experiments. Then father of industrial relations in India, N.M. Lokhande. First trade union in India, 1918, Madras Labour Union. Trade Union Act enacted in 1926. Royal Commission on Labour submitted report in 1931. Purpose of Royal Commission on Labour submitted report in 1931. Purpose of Royal Commission on Labour: recommend better working conditions. Post-independence IR focused on tripartism and labour welfare. Trade union is voluntary association of workers. Primary function of trade union: collective bargaining. We have done this जब हम कर रहे थे लेबर लॉज में क्वेश्चंस तब भी. So there are around 300 questions already uploaded labor laws के, very very important. You can go and have a look. Multiplicity of union leads to inter-union rivalry. Employers organization example: FICCI. Collective bargaining occurs between employers and workers representative. Collective bargaining main outcome: collective agreement. First stage of bargaining process: preparation. Last stage of bargaining: implementation of agreements. Industrial dispute defined in section 2K of Industrial Dispute Act 1947. Again important. Major cause of dispute: wages and bonus. Lockout is initiated by employer. Strike is initiated by workmen. Go slow means deliberate reduction of work speed. So now here also our speed is too much, but we cannot do anything. If you feel like speed is too much, you can decrease the speed. That's all I can do, or I can suggest. Then conciliation officer appointed under section 4 of Industrial Dispute Act. Conciliation settlement binding on all parties to the dispute. Arbitration award is binding on parties. Voluntary arbitration introduced in India 1956 में. Adjudication handled by labor courts and tribunals. Industrial tribunal constituted under section 7A of Industrial Dispute Act. National tribunal for disputes of national importance. Settlement definition section 2P of Industrial Dispute Act. Award published in official gazette. Duration of settlement up to 3 years. Grievances means employees dissatisfaction to be problems, and that is grievance. Effective grievance system should be fair and timely. Principle of natural justice: no man judge in own case. Nemo judex in causa sua. So that is no man judge in own case. Other principles here: the other side, audi alteram partem. Domestic inquiry concerns misconduct investigation. Standing Orders Act enacted in 1946. Standing orders define service conditions and conduct rules. Contract Labor Act year 1970. Principal employer responsible for compliance and welfare of contract labor. Registration under Contract Labor Act for more than 20 workers. Layoff compensation 50% basic plus DA. We have done this labor laws के question में. Retrenchment compensation 15 days average pay per year. Closure means permanent shutdown of unit. Strike defined in section 2Q of Industrial Dispute Act. Lockout defined in section 2L of Industrial Dispute Act. Protected strike requires 14 days notice. Then illegal strike requires conciliation or adjudication. Penalty for illegal strike, fine, imprisonment. Factories Act enacted in 1948. Objective of Factories Act, safety, health and welfare. Safety provision, example, machine guarding. Health provision, example, clean ड्रिंकिंग वाटर. वेलफेयर प्रोविजन, एग्जाम्पल कैंटीन और क्रेश. कितने कितने लोगों का इसमें कंडीशन है, दैट यू विल फाइंड इन लेबर लॉज का क्वेश्चन. एट द सेम टाइम फैक्ट्रीज एक्ट वेरी वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट. कई बार काफ़ी सारे क्वेश्चंस आए हैं फैक्ट्रीज एक्ट से भी. हमने ही पढ़ा था रिपन के बारे में, लॉर्ड रिपन, इनके टाइम पे कौन सा फैक्ट्री एक्ट आया, यू टेल मी. अदरवाइज प्रीवियस ईयर कुछ क्वेश्चंस डाले हुए हैं सेम लिस्ट पे बहुत एक्सप्लेनेशन के साथ, उसमें वी हैव डिस्कस फैक्ट्रीज एक्ट भी. कि कितने आर्स होते हैं, किस पे ज़्यादा एम्फेसिस था. पहले वाले में ओनली चिल्ड्रन के लिए किया गया, सेकंड वाले में विमेन चिल्ड्रन दोनों के आर्स और वर्किंग कंडीशंस डिसाइड किया गया, छुट्टी डिसाइड की गई. सो ऑल ऑफ दैट वी हैव ऑलरेडी डिस्कस्ड. वर्क कमेटी अंडर सेक्शन 3 ऑफ इंडस्ट्रियल डिस्प्यूट एक्ट. कंपोजिशन ऑफ वर्क्स कमेटी, इक्वल रिप्रेजेंटेटिव्स ऑफ एम्प्लॉयर एंड workmen. Purpose of Works Committee, promote good relations. Tripartite bodies in India, ILC and Standing Labour Committee. ILC founded in 1942, ILO established in 1919. International Labour Organization, headquarter is in Genova. इंडिया ने कब ज्वाइन किया, 1919. एजेंसी है किसकी, यूनाइटेड नेशंस की. कोर ILO कन्वेंशन नंबर 8. इंडिया रेटिफाइड कोर कन्वेंशन 6. सो इनमें कौन कौन से रेटिफाई किए हैं, कौन से नहीं किए हैं, वी हैव डन दिस. अगेन कहाँ पे, लेबर लॉस के क्वेश्चंस में यू विल फाइंड. ILO tripartite partners, government, employer and workers. Gig economy based on short term digital contracts. Casualization means increase in temporary jobs. Flexibility in labor, adjustable employment pattern. Challenge of gig workers, lack of social security. Code on Social Security year 2020. Code on Industrial Relation year 2020. Code on Wages year 2019. Fixed term employment gives same benefit as permanent staff. IR and productive relation positive. Main determinant of productivity motivation. WBM stands for worker participation and management. ठीक है क्या, worker participation and management is WPM. Objective, industrial democracy. Work forms of WPM, work committee, JMC and board. Co-determination model country, Germany. Then case, Bangalore water supply versus A. Rajappa, defined industry broadly. Workmen of Dimakuchi case, defined workmen. Firestone tire case, natural justice in domestic inquiry. Avon services case, retrenchment procedure. Then SM Nilajkar case, casual workers right. Code of discipline introduced 1958. All of these cases are very important. हमने LIC वर्सेस गवर्नमेंट ऑफ इंडिया भी देखा था, केशवानंद भारती, बेरूबारी यूनियन. तो हमने ये सब भी देखे हैं जो कि इंपॉर्टेंट है. नो वर्क नो पे प्रिंसिपल मीन्स wages not paid during illegal strike. Notice period for strike in public utility 14 days. Tripartite consultation convention number 144. Unfair labor practice, example, victimization. ULP section under ID Act, that is Industrial Dispute Act. ULP मतलब unfair labor practice. Schedule 5 employment standing and orders applicable for more than 300 workers under Industrial Legislation Code 2020. Grievance committee mandatory for more than or equal to 20 workers. Retrenchment notice period 1 month. Strike illegal if no notice given. तो नोटिस देना आपको ज़रूरी है. इंडस्ट्रियल पीस मीन्स हार्मोनी विदाउट conflicts. Objective of industrial relation policy India, full employment and social justice. Wages board are tripartite bodies. Productivity linked bonus act 1965 में आया. Then workers education scheme started 1958. Absenteeism affects productivity. High turnover leads to instability. Industrial relation audit access health of industrial relation. Then Social Security aims at protection against contingencies. EPF Act year 1952, ESI Act year 1948, Maternity Benefit Act year 1961. We have done a lot of questions maternity benefit पे, कितना वीक का छुट्टी मिलता है, कितने का नहीं मिलता है, everything. So you can go and have a look labor laws के questions. Then Gratuity Act year 1972, Minimum Wages Act year 1948, Equal Remuneration Act year 1976, ILO Declaration of Fundamental Principles 1998, ILO Convention binding on ratifying states. Then Labour Reforms Commission second NCL year 2002, Gig workers defined code on Social Security 2020. Platform worker uses digital platform for work, that is your gig workers जो करते हैं स्विगी ब्लिंकिट जोमेटो. Social Security Fund for gig workers, aggregator contribution 1 to 2% turnover. Fixed term employment benefit, gratuity eligible after 1 year. Collective dispute involves group of workers. Individual dispute raised by one workman. Standing orders contents include classification, leave, misconduct. Labor welfare officer mandatory for 500 plus workers. The industrial accident, unplanned injury event, behavior based safety focus, worker behavior. Labor commissioner duty enforce labor laws. Collective bargaining impasse leads to mediation. Strike ballot, vote before strike. Settlement binding period 6 months post expiry. Award binding after publication 30 days. Industrial peace machinery includes conciliation, arbitration, adjudication. Industrial democracy means worker voice in management, participative management, joint decision making. Industrial harmony depends on trust and communication. Ethical industrial relation practice, transparency. Labor welfare objective, better living standards. Principle of no work, no pay. Work and wages are inseparable. Strike notice valid for 6 weeks. Lookout notice same as strike notice. Unfair labor practice by union example, violent picketing. Unfair labor practice by employer, refusal to bargain. Industrial Relation Code repeals Industrial Dispute Act, TU Act, Standing Orders Act. Industrial Relation Climate Indicator, strike lockout frequency. Labor market reform goal, flexibility plus security. Tripartism means government, employer, worker, cooperation. Social dialogue, three-way consultation. Gig worker entitled to accident insurance. Minimum age of employment under law 14 years. Child labor prohibited under Child Labor Act 1986. Sexual Harassment Act year 2013. POSH Act committee chaired by senior women employee. We have done this labor laws के questions में भी, and you can have a look to know more ऐसे एक्ट के बारे में. अप्रेंटिसशिप एक्ट ईयर 1961. अप्रेंटिसशिप कॉन्ट्रैक्ट बिटवीन एम्प्लॉयर एंड अप्रेंटिस, ठीक है, जो कर रहा है. देन शॉप्स एंड एस्टेब्लिशमेंट एक्ट regulates non-factory employment. Role of labor code, adjudicate individual disputes. Industrial tribunal handles collective disputes. Grievance redressal officer appointed by employer. Labor inspection system reformed under Shram Suvidha portal. Code on wages consolidates 4 wage related laws. Wage code defines floor wage. Employment injury under ESI Act. Occupational Safety Code year 2020. Labor codes notified in 2019-20. Major industrial relation issue in India, informalization. Informal sector percent of workforce is 90%. ठीक है, 90% is informal sector percent. CSR under Companies Act 2013. CSR labor welfare activities include skill training. Industrial peace through dialogue and participation. National Labour Policy year 1966. Minimum wages revision period 5 years. Grievance redressal टाइम लिमिट 45 डेज. बोनस एलिजिबिलिटी मिनिमम सर्विस 30 वर्किंग डेज होना चाहिए फॉर बीइंग एलिजिबल. किसके लिए? बोनस. पेमेंट ऑफ बोनस सीलिंग 21,000. वेज लिमिट. डिस्प्यूट प्रिवेंशन मैकेनिज्म वर्क्स कमेटी. ILC मीट्स एवरी 2 years. लेबर ब्यूरो अंडर मिनिस्ट्री ऑफ लेबर. लेबर मार्केट इंफॉर्मेशन सिस्टम LMIS. स्किल इंडिया मिशन स्टार्टेड इन 2015. ना ये क्यों ऐसे दिया है, कई बार क्वेश्चन इज लाइक ये दिया है इसका फुल फॉर्म यू हैव टू टेल. जैसे यू विल टेल मी दिस ऑश कोड. तो ये ऑश का फुल फॉर्म क्या है, हमने बहुत बार किया है, पहले आया भी हुआ है ऑश, ठीक है. ऑक्यूपेशनल है, उसे आगे क्या है, सेफ्टी हेल्थ, यू विल टेल मी. देन स्किल इंडिया मिशन स्टार्टेड 2015. इंडस्ट्रियल पीस, लो स्ट्राइक्स, हाई कॉपरेशन. प्रोडक्टिविटी लिंक्ड विद इंडस्ट्रियल discipline. Industrial Relation Code allows fixed term employment. Gig workers challenge no collective representation. Principal industrial relation concern labor welfare and rights. Labor reforms 2020 aim simplification. Strike notice validity 6 week. Public utility. Labor judiciary hierarchy. Conciliation, labor court, tribunal, high court. ठीक है, conciliation, labor court, tribunal and high court. CLDH. Second NCL recommended labor codes. IR industrial relation challenges post 2020. Gig work and automation. Industrial relation audit evaluates harmony level. Voluntary arbitration introduced by 1956 Amendment. Code on Industrial Relations Section 62. Strike and lookout procedure. Current industrial relation framework. 4 labor codes. Essence of industrial relation. Peace, justice, productivity. So that's it in this. You will find more videos on the same channel. At the same time, you'll find a lot of PDFs related to this exam as well as the other exams on the Telegram. If you need notes for some specific exam, do let me know. I'll try to provide you with the notes. So that's it in this. All the very best and thank you.